KREM 2 News at Noon begins now.
You really have to do your research on exactly what's going on in that destination and will it impact where you're going to be traveling into or traveling out of.
We are talking about traveling. The recent violence in Mexico has some people worried about new attacks potentially in popular destinations. So coming up, experts share some travel advice before spring break rounds the corner.
And while the sun is out, it feels a little bit colder because our winds are gusty this afternoon.
And we are hearing from more Washington lawmakers on the Save America Act and why some people are concerned it could impact mail-in voting. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on KREM 2 News at Noon. I'm Laura Papetti. Good to be with you on this Thursday. We are talking about, of course, a fan favorite, the Lilac City Special, Bloomsday, officially kicking off today. The organization just hosting its annual media conference to announce details of this year's event, which, by the way, will be celebrating 50 years of the annual road race. Bloomsday celebrates spring in the inland Northwest like no other, with one of the largest road races in the country. It is celebrated on the first Sunday in May when tens of thousands of people, they walk, run, or stroll along the 10K course that is part race and really part street party, we say. The press conference just wrapping up, and we have the Bloomsday Communication Director, and she's in charge of sponsorship as well, Bethany Lewick. She is joining us to talk about all things race day. Bethany, I know you just wrapped up the press conference. We can hear some of that in the background. Tell me how things went today, and are there any big announcements as we celebrate 50 years?
Yeah, Laura, everything was really, really great today. We had a great crowd, great supporters. We unveiled the poster, which you probably can see right here. It's commissioned by Ken Spearing, a famous artist. And we're just really, really excited to get the hype going behind Bloomsday and get those registration numbers up.
You know, Bethany, it seems like we had sort of an, I don't want to, some people may have liked that we didn't have much snow, but it was a little bit of a lame winter for people who like to engage in the outdoors. I think there's a lot of excitement about Bloomsday because we can start celebrating spring and everything that entails. Are you feeling good energy as you head into the 50th year?
Yeah, it's really great energy, and unfortunately the lack of snow is a bummer for, our mountain friends, but it makes for really, really good running training and Bloomsday training. So, the paths are clear and sidewalks are clear, and you can get out there and get walking or running.
I know, I've been out walking each morning for the last couple of months, and I see all these folks out there, and I think they're running and walking very quickly. I think they're in training right now. Anything that you'll be doing on race day to mark 50 years of our celebration?
Yeah, I think a lot of our celebrations are in the lead up to Bloomsday. We're going to have a great race on Bloomsday, but for the month of April, you're going to hear of a couple of different events. One of them is happening at the Mack Museum. We'll have lots of Bloomsday memorabilia and historical artifacts on display. It's free to the public and sponsored by Primera and Washington Trust Bank. So two of our longtime supporters coming in and supporting us even still, which is just incredible. There'll also be another exhibit at Terrain. First Friday is April 3rd, I believe, and we'll have Ken Spearing there signing posters, and if you have any of the old school Ken posters from Bloomsday's years past, you're welcome to bring those down and get autographed as well. And then we'll also have a run with the perennials on March 31st. That'll be here at No-Lie. We're going to invite all the perennials. They might not be running, but they'll be here telling their stories and sharing, their experiences over their Bloomsday history. And we'll do a run starting here, going across the Cardong Bridge on the Centennial Trail, and we'll have 1, 3, and 5 mile distances for people.
I love it. Bethany, good luck to you and the whole Bloomsday team. It's fun to celebrate. Bloomsday it's part of Spokane's DNA. So good luck with everything, and we'll be checking in for more coming up. All right, we are talking about spring. We're talking about Bloomsday. We're talking about getting out there and training. It is a gorgeous day, and we find Thomas Patrick outside. Thomas, You ran Bloomsday last year and
4 years in
enjoyed
a
it.
row, actually,
Yeah.
Laura. I've been running it 4 years in a row, and it's amazing to see it at 50 this year. Though it is funny, I almost thought you were going to ask me, hey, what's the weather going to be like for Bloomsday? And it's like, well, we're still about 2 months and change out from the big race itself. But I'll tell you what, the hottest it can be would be 70s in the afternoon. That's been some of our warmer Bloomsdays. Some of the coldest can be 30s in the morning. So, anything goes, but it's usually right in that sweet spot in springtime. Meteorological spring starts this Sunday. But to not get too far ahead of myself, the sun's great. The wind is not, though. Current temperatures are 43, but it feels colder because the wind gusts have been 25 to 30 miles per hour. Certainly greeted with a face full of wind as I was jumping out here to our outdoor weather center. Because of that, it still feels like 35 degrees. This wind is a pretty cold wind, so if you can get through that, it's okay. But if the wind is a little bit too much, then yeah, it has a bit of a bite to it. But at least the sun is out today. Question is, how much longer are we going to deal with these fairly stiff winds since it's been 2 days on the bounce? And I'll show you when temperatures will be in the 50s in your full forecast coming up.
All right, Thomas, thank you very much. We do have an update on the stabbing in North Spokane that happened over the weekend. Yesterday, a man police think was involved in that stabbing appeared in court. Court documents show that 28-year-old Jonathan Woodcock is facing a second-degree murder charge as either an actor or an accomplice. Police have security footage that shows two men running from the Apple Tree Inn following the stabbing and getting into Woodcock's truck. Detectives used flock cameras to find Woodcock fueling up the truck in Ellensburg on Sunday evening. A judge has set his bond at $1 million. His next court appearance is scheduled now for March 3rd, and we'll continue to track that. Also yesterday, police shot and killed another one of the suspects. We still don't know his identity. The shooting happened just down the street from Audubon Elementary School. Police said the suspect was armed with a gun and was not cooperating. Police said the suspect tried to run away by jumping through neighbors' yards.
Around like 1:30ish, I had noticed from my kitchen window that kind of faces the alley a bit. I saw red and blue lights, and I heard, I want to say at least 5-6 shots ring out, and I thought, this isn't going to end well.
Police say following the shooting, they did try to save him, but he died on scene. And now the Spokane Independent Investigation Response Team is taking over the investigation. President Trump heavily criticized mail-in voting during the State of the Union address, and now Washington leaders are weighing in. The president says he wants to get rid of vote by mail and require proof of citizenship in order to vote. Washington Secretary of State Steve Hobbs says the Save America Act would make elections more costly, would disenfranchise voters, he says, and everyone in Washington would have to re-register. Hobbs says he wishes the president would focus on cybersecurity risk instead.
That's horrifying to even say that, because now you're setting up expectations that if the party they're directing the attack to wins, then obviously they're cheating.
Now, according to the Secretary of State's office, since 1982, Washington has had 15 cases of non-citizens voting. The state Republican chair, Jim Walsh, believes voter fraud, however, is an issue. He backed an initiative last year to require written proof of citizenship in order to register to vote.
What we're asking for is a higher level of security of an ID check when you're registering to vote, not when you're voting. We're trying to make the reform at the point of registration, and we believe that would be enough to clean up the voter rolls and keep them current.
Now, if Congress were to pass the Save America Act, Hobbs says the state of Washington would sue to try and block it. All right, even though things are beginning to return to normal in Mexico, people are still worried about what they'll do coming up for spring break. What we need you to know before you lock in your travel plans.